Good morning, good morning, good morning again, folks. Sorry, I had to check my tea for a moment. Tea on the pants. Welcome to another episode of Spilling Tea. I'm your host, Tiffany Daniels. We're going to that horrible world known as the JRC. But before we do, the usual disclaimers and straight to it. In the description box, you can find a link to the article that the Judge Roteberg Educational Center doesn't want you to read. It's written by NeuroClastic, a small non-for-profit started by Autistics for Autistics, wherein they interviewed and surveyed over 988 professionals in regards to the JRC's so-called behavior modification program. Matter of fact, the JRC doesn't want you to read this article so much, they have threatened NeuroClastic with a defamation lawsuit if they did not remove it from the website. Well, folks, NeuroClastic has refused, so you know the drill. Please read the article and share it on all your social media. Also included in there, NeuroClastic's public statement regards to the defamation lawsuit threat, as well as a link to their GoFundMe. We are crowdfunding in case the JRC actually sees through with their threat. Also included the Ozarks first article in regards to Agape boarding school, now known as Stone for Help boarding school situation. A so-called Christian-themed boarding school based out of Stockton, Missouri that takes in so-called trouble male teens that has pending over 21 civil lawsuits, claims, and allegations leveled against it, all which have been substantiated by the Missouri Department of Social Services, and they include the following: sodomy, rape, sexual assault, child abuse, psychological and emotional abuse, child trafficking, starvation, and that's just for starters. You have one former staff member arrested by the FBI, another a doctor still on the premises with full access to the boys up on multiple, again, substantiated claims of sodomy, rape, and sexual assault for the boys there. You have an attorney general too busy chasing after drag queens and trying and failing to defund public libraries to actually do his job, and a governor office not to send help to those of us who are too broke to get out of here. Read that article, share it on all your social media, send good vibes that will win the lottery or something, so we and all my friends, and Paul and everybody and all the friends can GTFO, alright? Excuse me. Alright, also, as always, the other pertinent links to the Stop the Shocks campaign, including the link to this 4 interviews done with the moms in regards to the JRC, Autistic Hoya's massive archive on the subject, Jennifer Masamba's behavioral shoot of shockable offenses, a clip out of the 7-hour ordeal undergone by Andre McCollins back in 2002, the templates and the ever-present self-explanatory change.org is shut the Judge Roteberg Center down petition. When we discuss the JRC, you're going to hear vivid descriptions of and catch clips of surveillance footage of people with disabilities being tortured and abused. If you got young children present, folks, please go ahead and use those headphones, alright? Alright, this channel is marked trigger warning, not for kids for a reason. We use profanity on occasion and speak on dark subjects. If your child is 16 and younger and they're watching this, very obviously parental supervision is advised. Another trigger warning. While we are going through each of these lists of behaviors that we're getting ready to do, Andrew, you're going to hear mentioned my own past, which includes sexual abuse and child abuse and psychological abuse perpetuated on me by my stepbrother. If this is triggering to you, just be prepared. You're going to hear some of that, alright? Alright, moving on to Andrew. Annoying others wouldn't sit still. Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay. Most of us autistics and otherwise neurodivergents, including my ADHD friends, are called annoying. Would you like to know why? Because we got a lot of questions. In fact, one of the reasons why I was a target of one of my teachers who spread rumors behind my back about me and my family is because I had a particular thing where I would ask questions if I was being taught a history lesson and it was bullshit. Because I didn't mind even calling out teachers. I respect authority until you give me a reason not to. Let's put it that way. And I was like that. Yeah, baby. What they called annoying and wouldn't sit still was my annoyance with my education system. I'm an extremely intelligent person. I always have been. I've been a reader from a very young age. I started when I was the age of 3. Annoying others, asking questions. You're annoyed because I'm asking questions. Who has the problem? Me or the person who doesn't know the answer and so they get annoyed? We're 2. Nobody ever tell you about terrible 2s? As far as wouldn't sit still, this makes me nuts. Because Andrew was 2. Do you know any neurodivergent 2-year-old who sits still? I don't have kids, but I help raise my nephews and my nieces. Age 2 was when I was at my most exhausted with all of them. Okay? Dragged all over the house. Love my nephews and nieces, but holy crap, how I would sigh relief when their parents would come and get them. Not to be mean, I love them, but you get what I'm saying. The fact that this is listed as a behavior when it was actually something that is common behavior amongst all 2-year-olds. See, remember when we say that even our so-called quote-unquote normal behaviors still get listed and follow us into adulthood until the day we die? This is what I'm talking about. Outbursts, talking back, 1st grade. Things all kids do, but we get demonized for it, whereas they don't. But Tiffany, you are downgrading outbursts from autistics. You don't know how bad they are. Excuse me. The fuck I know. The fuck I know. You wanna know why? Because I was that kid. Okay? And what they're labeling as talking back, by the way, is not necessarily talking back. Whenever a neurodivergent is told to do something, we may ask why. We're not trying to be disrespectful or talk back or take authority away from the authority figure. We just want to be told why. I was not trying to be disrespectful, but it was still called an outburst. It was still called talking back and being a smartass. Now, if you want me to be a smartass, believe me, I have a doctorate at this point in my life. But when I was that age, what they called talking back was not me talking back. It was me asking questions. We got to allow room for kids who just want to know why. And stop automatically assuming it is disrespect to the authority figure. And I'm not just talking about neurodivergent kids. I mean, there are other kids who are like this too. Where we will just sit there and wonder why we were yelled at for being disrespectful for asking a question. We don't understand, okay? We good? Luckily, this only happened really with teachers and me. My mom understood I just wanted to be told why I had to be punished. And she'd explain it to me. And then I would understand. And she understood it not as me talking back or being disrespectful, but literally me just wanting to know why. Alright. They also use this as a way, by the way, to say that we're rude. Well, now these days, folks, I'm unapologetically unapologetically rude, crude, and socially unacceptable. Deal. Taking things from other students 1st to 3rd grade, yelling and running out of class. The first one, I can understand that being a behavior. Again, let's delve into the triggers, shall we? Running and yelling out of class. Okay, again, this doesn't come out of nowhere. They're just yelling and running away, and we don't understand why. You could understand why. Could it be like the reason when I ran out of the classroom and was yelling at my peers because that individual is being bullied and they're reacting? Oh no, but we got to demonize the disabled kid. I always found it interesting that it's always the disabled kid who gets disciplined. And the only reason why there's a behavior to be disciplined in the first place is because we finally give a reaction to all the bullying. But we're the bad guy. How dare we react to all that abuse and bullying? Cute, isn't it? Threw a chair at a teacher, threatening behavior, picked on others, 6th grade. You could have said that about me about that same age, but thankfully they had to deal with my mother. I threw a chair at a wall, yes, but I threw the chair and desk and put a dent into a concrete wall. Well, I put kind of a hole, a crack in it. Those desks were made different, all right? But threatening behavior, you threatened the whole class. They spent the last decade threatening me. I react once, and I'm the person that gets sent to the principal after being calmed down by another teacher. If you're neurodivergent and you've gone through this, raise your hand. Okay? This is why we got to delve into the why, because a lot of times things that get listed as behaviors are not behaviors, they're reactions. Logical reactions to what's being perpetuated upon us. Do not just automatically assume it's coming from the diagnosis. Our diagnosis may influence how we react, but not why we're reacting. Okay? Again, with the inappropriate sexual behavior, age of 14, nobody delves into why. Allow me to give you some clarification. One of the number one victims when it comes to sexual assault, people who are the most likely victims of SA. You're looking at her. It's disabled kids. It's disabled adults. It's disabled elderly people. Okay? Many kids, when they go through that type of abuse, will at some point display some form of sexual behavior. Okay? Psychology 101. So instead of shaming it and writing it off as a behavior and throwing it under the massive folder file that you call our behaviors, why was no work done to find out where this behavior was learned and why it's coming out? Yeah. Nobody thinks about that, do they? Behaviors like that in particular are learned. They're learned. Okay? Whether it's an irrational brain that's perpetuating it or not, at somewhere, at some point, that was learned. We need to know how it was learned. If it was SA, that needs to be dealt with with a professional. Okay? And because when you don't, especially when you're that young, it's going to get worse and worse and worse until you do. Eventually, they may be like my stepbrother, and what abuse they go through, they perpetuate on others. Okay? I speak this not as somebody who displayed this type of behavior, but as someone who was a victim of it. All right? We're going to keep it short and go ahead and close out on this one. We don't get very many views on this channel. The few that we do tend to get removed from time to time. So, folks, please don't forget to hit the like button, hit subscribe, and don't forget to hit the comments. I do appreciate your time. And as always, folks, we here at Smelling Tea do hope you have a good one. Bye-bye, everyone. Excuse me, folks. While waiting for my machine to work, I gotta stretch my legs out. Technical difficulties.